Hello friends, today we will discuss the topic cathartics and purgatives. In previous lecture we had discussed cathartics, what was cathartics, how we will classify, how we will define what was its mechanism of action. In this lecture we will discuss about purgatives, basically how we will define purgatives, what is its function, how this drug will act on our GIT. We will see all these things. So here we will discuss about cathartics and purgatives. It is its prerequisite which we had followed here. Like cathartics and laxatives, both will increases the motility of intestine. Means both have similar action. Both will act on gastrointestinal tract only. Both function is to enhance motility of your intestine, or they can also increase the bulk of feces. So basically it will depend on their dose. Their dose will decide this drug will act as a cathartic, this drug will act as a purgative, and this drug will act as a laxative. So the doses for all of these drugs are highly empirical and usually extended from human doses. So clinically we can say these drugs are administered to increase the passage of gut content. So both these cathartics and purgative have similar function. Both will increase the passage of gut content associated with intestinal impaction to cleanse the bowel before radiography or before endoscopy, then also for eliminating the toxins from GI tract infection. And they also soften the faces after intestinal or anal surgery. So clinically it has very important for clinically this drug is cathartics and purgatives are very important when you are going for surgery, when you are going for endoscopy, when you are going for radiography. So these are the now it will be the what will be the objective behind this. Mean firstly we should define, we should explain about the purgatives, then we can classify also, then we can describe some drugs, what is its action, what is its side effect, what should be its dose, which type of drug can use in case used as a purgative. So all these things we will discuss here one by one. So firstly we should know about the purgative. We should have some ideas about purgative, how we will define here. We are seeing here the purgative can provide semi-solid stool. Again you listen, purgative can provide semi-solid stool or that will leads to watery evacuation. These are used for complete cleaning of bowel prior to gastrointestinal endoscopic procedure. What do you mean by gastrointestinal endoscopic procedure? It can flush out the worm of post-bedridden or post-operative patient after use of anthelmintic drug. Suppose if you have if you are going for a diagnosis or you are going for a surgery, then your intestines should be totally flushed out with warm or post-bedridden or post-operative patient after use of anti-anthelmintic drug. So cleaning of bowel before surgery or taking abdominal X-ray, we are widely used purgative to clean our gut, to clean our intestine. So classification, again we can classify this. It can be osmotic purgative, it can be irritant purgative. So it will also based on their mechanism. Osmotic purgative, you can say electrolytic osmotic purgative also, have also some saline purgative. Another example is electrolyte osmotic purgative. It contains not absorbable PEG. It retains water due to its high osmotic nature. It is given along with balanced isotonic solution which contains sodium chloride, sodium bicarbonate, sodium sulfate, potassium chloride. So again you see it can given along with balanced isotonic solution that contains sodium chloride, that contains sodium bicarbonate, and also that contain potassium chloride. So these content we will use here along with purgative, because if you are using purgative, so it can clean your blood totally, it can give watery evacuation. So with watery evacuation you can lose some salt, some electrolyte also. It can be electrolytic imbalance. Due to balancing these electrolyte, we can use along with sodium chloride, sodium bicarbonate, sodium sulfate and potassium chloride. It is safer to all patients. It don't have much more side effect, means it can be safer to all patients, we can. Now, first we will see saline purgatives. What is saline purgative? It is soluble in organic salt which act by increasing the fecal bulk by retaining water due to its osmotic effect. Thus increases the peristalsis indirectly. You can say when you are using this saline purgative, indirectly they will they will enhance the peristaltic movement of our GIT. This magnesium salt also releases cholecystokinin, which is used to increase the intestinal secretion and peristalsis. Means when you are using magnesium as a saline purgative, then it will stimulate the secretion of cholecystokinin, and this cholecystokinin will also increase the intestinal secretion, and it will enhance also peristalsis. Means it can also enhance peristaltic movement. It has some common side effect, like when you are it's giving along with plenty of water, because being irritant it may induce vomiting. Means always this drug should give with plenty of water, because it has irritant property, so it may induce vomiting also. That's why we should take plenty of water, and it can induce vomiting, we can say. High osmolar property, its a high osmolar property leads to intravascular fluid depletion and electrolytic disbalance. If you are using saline purgative, because already it have a saline, it can imbalance your electrolyte. So due to this your intravascular fluid depletion can occur. The long-term uses of these should be avoided for hypertensive patients. Suppose anybody have a history of hypertension, this drug should avoid it, because already it has a saline property. It can enhance, it can increase the hypertensive property also. And if any person have cardiac failure patient, then also they should avoid, because here electrolytic imbalance can occur. So due to this it can be fatal for cardiac patient, we can say. For suppose if you are using long term of this magnesium salt as a saline purgative, it can be dangerous for renal failure patient, means kidney patient. It can, suppose if any person have renal failure history, then they should avoid to take this saline purgative. Otherwise it can be a risk of hypermagnesemia that can be damaged, that can be damage your kidney also, you can say. Now we will see magnesium hydroxide, because we are taking here magnesium hydroxide as a saline purgative. It has some side effects, so we will see its preparation and its use. We will see how we prepare this. So here we are taking magnesium hydroxide. It can be prepared by an aqueous suspension of magnesium oxide. Light magnesium oxide, because this magnesium oxide contains two types of particle. One can be light and other can be heavy particle. It can differentiate on the basis of their particle size. It can be also it can be also differentiate on the basis of their density. So we can say here we will take light magnesium oxide, that is mixed with sodium hydroxide solution to get a cream, and it is diluted with water. The suspension is pure in thin stream into a solution of magnesium sulfate with constant stirring. The precipitate is allowed to settle. After that, the clear liquid is decanted off. Decanted off means we will decant the supernatant liquid, and the residue is transferred into a calico filter, washed thoroughly and with water until it is free from sulfate ion, and finally mixed with a sufficient quantity of purified water, that can be a sodium hydroxide solution. So in this reaction, sodium hydroxide react with magnesium sulfate and give the magnesium hydroxide. So the above formula this above formula pharmacopoeia permits the use of following pharmaceutical aid. Means along with this magnesium hydroxide solution, you can use 0.1% citric acid, which is used to minimize the reaction between glass container and milk of magnesia during storage. So it can be used as a pharmaceutical aid. Means you can use along with this sodium magnesium hydroxide around 0.1% citric acid. Otherwise it impart bitter taste. Suppose if you are not using the citric acid, then it can impart bitter taste. So 0.5 ml in 1000 ml of volatile oil as a flavoring agent you can use. You can use 0.1 to 5% of methyl paraben as a preservative. So these are the composition of saline purgative which can be used in the treatment of constipation, or you can say used in the treatment of your removal of defecation, in the removal of waste material which are fecal material which are present our gut. So it is its basic use of magnesium hydroxide. It can be used as a laxative also, it can be used as a purgative also. It also have antacid property. It can be used as alkaline mouthwash. It have means in mouthwash also this magnesium hydroxide can be used, and it is also used to liberate alkaloid from the solution. Its dose can decide. This magnesium hydroxide will act as antacid, it can be act as a laxative. Means when you are using 5 to 10 ml, then this drug will act as antacid. When you will enhance this dose, when you are increasing this dose around 15 to 20 ml, 15 to 30 ml, then this drug will act as a laxative. So you can say its dose will depend its property. It can be how it means it can be whether it can be used as antacid, whether it can be used as a laxative. So it should not be refrigerated. It will shake well before use. When you are, because it is type of suspension, when you are going to use, before using you will shake well properly. After that you can take this drug. So these are some uses of saline purgatives or magnesium hydroxide. So these are some references which I have used during the discussion of these topics. Thank you so much. Thank you.